Some parts of the city of Bengaluru, where the crisis has only intensified in certain sections of the IT hub in southeastern Bengaluru, near the lake beds which have been encroached for years together. And this is the result. Some of the most upscale parts of Bengaluru have been affected. Villas flooded, living rooms inundated, basement parking lots have put vehicles completely underwater. Tech CEOs are having to be evacuated via tractor. This, unbelievably, is what parts of Bengaluru have looked like for the second day running of unprecedented rains and water that's refusing to recede in those areas and continuing to pose a nightmare for the people who live there. Let me remind all of our viewers that unlike a large part of the media here in India today, we're giving you the facts, not the falsehoods. It's not like the entire city of Bengaluru is underwater, far from it. There is a section of the city that's underwater, many different sections of the city that are underwater, and they're fighting back. And we're going to name and shame those responsible for bringing a once beautiful city to this nightmarish situation. I'm Shiv Aroor. This is 5 Live, the show that began setting the agenda on this big national story. These are the headlines. 23-year-old Bengaluru resident Akila killed after being electrocuted in flood-hit Bengaluru. Father blames negligence by officials and waterlogging. NIA charge sheet in Dakshin Kannada Bajrang Dal worker Harsha murder case access. Probe agency says hatred against Hindus and the hijab row, as well as cow protection politics, prompted Islamists to kill the saffron worker. Massive multi-city enforcement directorate raids in the liquor gate scam. Multiple locations in Delhi raided. Deputy Chief Minister Sisodia claims witch hunt. Prime Minister Modi and Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina announce India-Bangladesh cooperation in IT, space and nuclear sector. Key water sharing pacts also signed. The visiting Bangladeshi Prime Minister pays rich tribute to Modi's leadership. India takes on Sri Lanka in their second game of the Super 4 stage. After loss to Pakistan, this is a must-win game for Team India to keep its finals hopes alive. For the second consecutive day, parts of Bengaluru, not the entire city, parts of it continue to be submerged and affected so badly that people are still having to be evacuated via boat, go from one place to another via tractor, or simply stay marooned at home. Here are the 10 defining images on day 2 of a sinking silicon hub of Bengaluru. Massive flooding continues in the Bellandur area of Bengaluru. Water was seen gushing into basements of residential colonies on this recovered lake bed colony. The lower floors of many housing societies are filled with water in these layout areas near the lakes. Rainwater has also flooded private villas near the Yemalur area. It's an upscale, posh society where residential properties cost upwards of 8 crore rupees. Residents were evacuated from here as well on tractors. Unbelievable sights in many of these locations, including the Epsilon and 77-acre societies. The third big defining image from the city: if the villas were flooded, the luxury vehicles were not spared either. From Bentleys to Lexuses to Audis to Mercedes SUVs, you name it. The big luxury cars of Bengaluru's wealthy were also falling by the wayside, ceiling high with water. Streets turned rivers in the Yemalur area of Bengaluru's outskirts. Tractors were being used to ferry people, distribute essentials in many colonies and societies which remain marooned by the floodwaters. And it isn't just residents and citizens. Their pets are also being rescued by disaster response force teams, especially in the Whitefield areas after heavy rains inundated large stretches of property there. Pets along with residents are being ferried by boats in emergency situations. One of the most telling images of the day, the CEO of An Academy, Gaurav Munjal, tweeted this video of himself and his family and pet dog being evacuated on a tractor from his society that has been badly affected by the flood waters. Munjal says that things are bad in Bengaluru. Waterlogging, meanwhile, is still not under control at RMZ Eco World. Traffic movement extremely slow. Commuters have been advised to avoid Bengaluru's now notorious outer ring road. Heavy rains have also caused the lakes to overflow in Bengaluru. And remember, Bengaluru is a city of lakes. The bulldozers are being used to ferry people in the Bellandur area as the lake has overflowed. Boats and tractors have also been pressed in to ferry people from one side to the other. Bulldozers being used to ferry people. And since this is Bengaluru, remember, after the rain comes the potholes. Bengaluru streets are now riddled with potholes, the telling signs of damage after the rains. Commuters continue to be struggling to navigate, and we've seen in the past how deadly these potholes can be. Also, a chopper captured the full extent of the flooding in the eco-space area in Bengaluru. This is a bird's eye view of the area, viewers. I want to take you straight now to one of the most affected areas from where people have been taking tractors to go from one area to the other. Live from the HAL LCA Tejas division, a very crucial strategic location for the Indian military. This is where Hindustan Aeronautics Limited designs and builds its fighter jet. The LCA Tejas has also been affected by the flood waters. India Today's Nagarjun Dwarkanath is there. Naga, how bad is it? You know, is it any better from yesterday?
Shiv, it is but much better than yesterday. The water levels were at 2.5 to 3 feet. Today it has come down to 1 feet or less than that. But the reason behind the flooding is this. I'm showing you the image of a stormwater drain. In the entry of it where I'm standing, it's around 30 feet, which is the width capacity. As we go into the drain, you can see the encroachment clearly here, and it becomes up to 5 to 10 feet. So what starts as a 30-feet drain becomes 5 to 10 feet by the time it reaches the apartments and the villas. Behind this is the Epsilon Villa and the 77-acre villas, the posh villas that you were talking about. The stormwater drain has been encroached, is what we are told from the locals, and that's the reason the water takes its natural course and has entered these villas at this point of time. And also, I am at Yamlur. Shiv, let me show you to what extent the water has receded here. This road was completely inundated with water, but fortunately the sun was out today, and also the state disaster management force was here. They rescued people since morning through tractors as well as boats, and people did come out, and 15 family members are still inside the villas who don't want to step out. They have been given free food packets and also medical aid, and they hadn't had electricity for the last 2 days. That also is being gradually restored. I'm walking towards the HAL LCA Tejas division where the scientific research and all the research happens. That is where there was flooding in the last 48 hours. And the gates of the LCA division and the HAL division was also completely inundated, and employees could not walk in. So LCA division was also shut. This is all the fire department and the JCBs that were used yesterday to reach the apartments that we spoke about, the posh villas that we spoke about. MLA came here day before yesterday, the chief minister came. This is all encroached land is what the locals claim, but however that has to be verified by the BBMP as well as the revenue department. You can see all BBMP officials are here. This is one such apartment that we saw flooding, people have been rescued. Let me show you the LCA division, Shiv. That is the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited LCA Tejas division. The car that you see is a BMW 7 Series car in front of the HAL LCA division that was completely submerged. But today, fortunately, the water levels have receded. You can see to what extent the water levels are receded. The submerged car is now seen, but still this stretch of 500 meters is still completely flooded with water, and 15 family members are still there, unwilling to come out.
Right.
They have been rescued through boats, and food is being given. And you see how the cars are still getting submerged in the water here. Tractors are doing up and down from the main road to the apartment, so that food supplies is not stopped. So every 2 hours there's a tractor that is going up and down to the apartment, to the main road. But shocking is that such critical installations like HL LCA division, even that was not spared by the flooding today.
And hopefully things are going to be a little better, but remember there is a rain forecast till at least Friday, so all precautions need to be taken. Hopefully there will be a greater recession of this water before more rains come in. Naga, stay safe. Thanks very much for getting us that live ground report. Now, Bengaluru, which has been reeling from this rainfall, had a little bit of respite today. While the floodwaters expose the civic mess, politics over the flood is also erupting big time today in India's so-called IT city. Take a look at this report.
As Bengaluru reels under waterlogging, triggered by a record-breaking rainfall, furious politics erupts over the flooded city. The BJP government, which is facing the heat over IT city's poor infrastructure, has shifted the blame on the previous Congress governments.
This is done because of maladministration and totally unplanned administration of the previous government, Congress government. They have given permissions right, left, center in the lakes, on the tank bunds, on the buffer zones. That is the reason for this.
The Congress is trying to corner the BJP over the city's crumbling infrastructure. The party's youth wing staged a massive protest against the Bommai government. State Youth Congress President Mohammad Nalapad was detained by police as he sat on a dharna.
What is the state of Bangalore city today? An international city submerged in water. This government is a corrupt government. From last 3 years, they have been busy minting money. They have been busy creating communal tensions so that people divert their attention from the real issues.
Congress leaders are targeting the BJP for not holding elections for the Bengaluru civic body BBMP. It claims the BJP government has failed to allocate ample funds to improve civic infrastructure.
The BJP government today is an absolute failure, especially in the state of Karnataka. The Chief Minister has shamelessly passed the buck on the Congress governments, on the previous Congress governments. Shame on you, sir. It's been 3 years since you are in power here, and there is nothing that is happening.
The Congress also released a video of BJP MP Tejasvi Surya having breakfast at a restaurant in the city on Monday while his constituency was heavily flooded.
Want them to address this issue at the earliest possible. It's not like we had more rains this year than last year. The rains have been the same. It is just that the problems have intensified in Bangalore. The civic issues have intensified. The IT companies are threatening to leave Bangalore.
Meanwhile, BBMP Commissioner Tushar Girinath says the civic body will remove obstacles in the waterways to prevent flooding.
Most of the places, they are in 1 feet or 1.5 feet of water. We are pumping that out. We have put around 50 pumps to service. There are around 12 boats have already been placed yesterday. 15 more boats are being put. So that the evacuation process is done smoothly.
As the citizens grapple with a flooded city, Bengaluru's politicians have let their voters down. India's IT city needs a serious reboot. But are our political classes willing to do it? With Sagai Raj, Priyanka Rudrappa, and Nagarjun Dwarkanath. Bureau Report, India Today.
And we've got some news just coming in. The chief of the Karnataka Youth Congress has led a big protest at the outer ring road, one of the most affected areas in Bengaluru. Mohammad Haris Nalapad has been detained after this particular protest. That's him right there. You can see in the water being pulled away during that particular protest, and he has been detained. And these are pictures that came in just a short while ago. The Congress has stepped up the temperatures to put the pressure on the Bombay government over the flooding that has taken place in the outer ring road area, the IT hub area, the Bellandur Lake, Vartur Lake area, the lake bed area, which is the most badly affected part of Bengaluru city. And these political protests have taken center stage now. Mohammad Haris Nalapad of the Youth Congress, he leads the Youth Congress in Karnataka, has been detained. And we have him live, as a matter of fact, right now. Mohammad Haris Nalapad is with us live. Nalapad, take us through what happened. Take us through. Are you still in detention right now?
No, I just got out and I came to this Divyashri area where the roads have been flooded and the people are not able to live their lives normally. And when I'm trying to go and ask the people if they have a problem, the police wants to detain me. I'm not trying to protest. I'm trying to show the people of Karnataka what the reality of Bangalore is. What the reality of Bangalore is. What we had got a name called Silicon City. Today we have got a name called Sinking City. If the BJP has done one thing for Karnataka, for Bangalore, is giving us a name as Sinking City. Compared to the Silicon.
Yes, go ahead. Nalapad, I wanted to ask you, the government, Chief Minister Bommai has pointed a finger at the Congress party, and he has said that clearances, no objection certificates, permissions given by the previous Congress government is something that is responsible for this encroachment that has taken place and this flooding that is happening right now. How would you respond to that?
See, I disagree with Sri Baswaraj Bommai. The major of these constructions and these illegal structures have come in during the tenure of Mr. B.S. Yediyurappa the first time. And it was not regulated and they only cared about making money. And today, instead of pointing finger at Congress, they don't have the basic criteria to make sure that the work is done. And the people of Karnataka are able to go through the roads as with cars. Today, people have to go through boats on the road. This is the reality of the Congress, the reality of the BJP government.
For those watching from the outside, Nalapad, can you explain precisely how this has taken place? You know, the perception is that Bangalore as a whole has sunk.
I am right now in one part of Bangalore
where
this is the state of the car. If you can see my camera, this is the state of a BMW car in a posh area of Bangalore and in a tech hub of Bangalore. And here people are traveling on tractors. People are traveling on tractors and boats. In the last 3 years, running this government here, in the last 3 years, being the chief minister, what is your contribution? When you knew there is going to be so high rains, when there is going to be such high rain and problems going to happen, what is the directions or what is the precautionary methods that the BJP government is taken? Today, the reality, the problems that the people of Karnataka are facing are huge. And we have to travel on boat. And people have given 7-8 crore rupees to buy a house, apartment here. In such an area, such a problem is being happening.
Where are you headed to now, Nalapad? Are you going to be protesting more today? Where are you headed to?
I'm not protesting. I want to visit the people. I met with the BBMP commissioner who very sensibly is working. But none of the ministers or none of the MLAs of this area, I don't see them on the street. I don't see them helping the people of Karnataka. And when somebody, as a representative of the youth wing of the state, of a political party, when I try to go and see the people, they stop me. What kind of democracy is this? What are they trying to achieve, Shiv? The people of the country should understand the BJP only is busy in taking 40% commission. If there was an opportunity to make 40% commission, they would have been making that 40% instead of coming and helping these people. Today, I don't see the BJP MLA here. I don't see the Bangalore Development Minister here. I don't see anybody here. I only see people suffering. And in Bangalore city, a city that is known for its infrastructure, a city that is known for its works, as today has to face this kind of plunge. This is the bare fact that I'm trying to tell you. With great pain, I'm telling you. When I, as the representative of the youth wing of a party, go to address or talk to the people, they arrest me. What kind of Modi Sarkar is this? What kind of BJP Sarkar is this? Is this what you call Achhe Din? This is stinking days. This is dirty days. These days are not for the people of Karnataka. You have to take care of the people of Karnataka. You cannot go on and say that because of the Congress government or because of somebody else. What have you done? 3 years. What have you done? Basuraj Bommai ji. What have you done to Bangalore?
These are fair questions that need to be asked to the government, and we are also asking them. Just two more questions, Nalapad. One is, the Congress blames the BJP blames the Congress. That is a political tutu meme which continues. But we all know that there is a real estate mafia as well who has benefited immensely from this. Like you just pointed out, houses have been sold for 8, 9, 10 crores on areas which have been encroached in the lake bed area. Is any action going to be taken against them? As a Bangalorean yourself, do you believe that the anger has reached a point where action will be demanded now?
No, there is no other choice, Shiv. If there is no action, there will not be Bangalore. The Bangalore that we all grew up in, the Bangalore that people were lived in, all over the world, people come to Bangalore. They look at Karnataka through Bangalore. And today, the state of Bangalore is so bad, and it is pathetic that the leaders don't even want to acknowledge it or come and see the plight. And where is the ministers? Where is the concerned ministers? Take action, break the buildings, make sure that the water flows. The Bangalore that everybody is looking at, the Bangalore that the Karnataka requires. We need a city where water, when a rain comes, water goes through drains. If the drainage system fails, who are you blaming? Why are you telling? Okay, let Congress have done, let JDS have done, let Kumaraswamy have done. We don't know that. Right now, who is the Chief Minister? Mr. Basuraj Bommai. Don't blame anybody else. Make sure that you get the work done. Break whose ever building it is. So let me just ask you one simple question, Shiv Aroor. From the last 15 years, in this part of Bangalore, Madhepura constituency, there is a BJP MLA. BJP MLA, Mr. Arvind Limbavali. So in the 15 years, he didn't know what was happening. He didn't know these buildings were built. He was sleeping in the house. Without the consent of the concerned MLA, how are these buildings being built? How are these planning authorities being taking place? So Mr. Limbavali is not aware. He was an ex-minister. What does he think? You on your channel, 2 days back, we saw how he treated a woman on TV. On national TV, we saw how he was abusing a woman. So when somebody goes to him with a complaint, that is the attitude he has. And today, in his constituency, the entire IT hub is there. And all over the world, people are watching Bangalore. And because of his negligence, because of his failures, today Bangalore, the Madhepura constituency has reached this level.
Final comment from you, Nalapad, is that, your party today also took a direct attack on Tejasvi Surya, who's a MP from Bengaluru. Do you believe that he also should have been present? He hasn't reacted to that attack so far.
See, Tejasvi Surya, let it be any of these BJP leaders. They are not interested in the welfare of the people of this country, the people of Karnataka, the people of Bangalore. Their only interest lies at 40%. Where they can make an opportunity to earn 40% commission, they will be there. Here, there is no opportunity to make money. Here, the only reason they are not coming here is because if they come and meet the people, people will show their anger. That is why they are not coming. They don't have any ethical right. They do not know what the people of Karnataka want. Here, they only want to do politics and make money. Never in the history of Karnataka has BJP won with full majority and come to power. Never. I'm repeating this. They have always purchased MLAs or joined some other party and made power. Never has the people of Karnataka voted them. So when they invest money in such wrong ways and become ministers or become form a government, their only agenda is to make sure that they make money. And here it is a 40% sarkar and everybody knows about it. And we are opposing it and the people of Karnataka today are witnessing it. If this rain continues for another day or two, I don't know how bad this state is going to be.
And we're going to keep a very close watch. Many questions that continue to be asked of the government, and we will continue to do that because here on India Today, we reflect the voices of all sides and we do not ignore the opposition. Thanks very much, Nalapad, for joining us. Stay safe out there as we are appealing to all Bengalurians to please take all precautions if you are choosing to get out there. We're going to be joined in a moment by Vaishnavi Prasad, who's country lead of Concilio. She's a prominent Bengalurian. She'll be with us in just a moment. But just before that, I have a small piece of breaking news to bring you in on right now. The Karnataka government will be holding a Janotsav on the 8th of September. The event is to mark 1 year of Basavaraj Bommai's chief ministership. JP Nadda and other senior leaders will be attending. What's noteworthy is that none of the ministers have visited any affected areas in the city, but most of them will be attending the Janotsav celebrations. Incredible. The priority of politics in Karnataka is writ large for citizens to see. Flood politics continues. Janotsav to mark 1 year of the Bommai government is to happen in just a few days from now on the 8th of September. That's day after tomorrow. But all of the ministers who will be there have not visited even a single flood-affected area. So that's just something to think about as we bring you this next report about the downpour in Bengaluru that has claimed its first victim. Young Akhila, 23 years old, who was trying to flee from the waterlogged street she was stuck on. She was electrocuted while hauling her scooter out of the water. This tragic tale tells you that this is not just any old crisis, it's a death trap.
Battered and inundated. The latest round of downpour in Bengaluru has claimed its first victim. 23-year-old Akhila got off her scooty on a waterlogged street on Monday night. Towed it through the waist-deep deluge. Slipped and came in contact with an electric pole. Akhila died from electrocution.
At least if she had come front, someone could have pulled her. But the current, everyone feared to pull her. She was screaming, help me, help me. No one supported her. So I request the government, please take care of the electric poles.
ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಾವು ಕಷ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಮಗು ಅದೇನಿಲ್ಲ. 8 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ತು ಮನೆಗಿದ್ದು. ಆಗಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಿಸ್ಸಸ್ಗೆ ಕಾಲುಗಳು ಪ್ಯಾಚರ್ ಆಗಿ ರಾಡೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಅವರೇ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗುಗೆ ಆಗಿದ ಥರ ಬೇರೆ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Akhila worked in a local music school. The family lost its breadwinner in an instant to civic negligence. On the front line of the Bengaluru crisis aren't just middle class, the poor and the most vulnerable residents. The floods didn't spare the IT hub's upmarket entrepreneurs either. That's how the chief executive of online education startup An Academy hopped onto a tractor with his family and pet after floodwaters inundated his housing society. Streets of a high-end Yemalur neighborhood where a house costs as high as 8 crore rupees turned into a lake. Luxury cars left stranded as residents carted themselves out on tractor trolleys.
This is not a river. This is outer ring road stretch where tech companies like Microsoft and Intel are located here. They are the ones who contribute to the GSDP of the state of Karnataka with crores and crores of rupees every day, running in hundreds and thousands by the end of the month and by the end of the year. If this is what they get, one can imagine what is the plight of the situation of Paurakarmikas and slum dwellers in the other side of the town.
A metropolis of about 8.5 million and the back office of the world. Bengaluru recorded 131.6 millimeters of rain on Monday night, its wettest September day in the last 8 years. Studies have ironically linked the city's woes to unchecked urbanization. Without soil to soak up excess water, streets tend to become indistinguishable from streams almost every monsoon. A steep decline in green cover and water bodies and a massive increase of more than 1,000% in concretization of the city have rendered Bengaluru vulnerable to the vagaries of the weather. A case study on how brazen development is sending floodwaters into human habitats on the one hand and causing droughts on the other in major cities. With Nagarjun Dwarkanath, Bureau Report, India Today.
And here on India Today, we've kept our cameras focused on the situation, the crisis, the suffering, and also some of the most unspeakable images, because right through the last 48 hours, we've seen images of tech CEOs, software professionals having to use tractors to get from one place to the other or be evacuated from their colonies. This is something that affects many people in Bengaluru. Not the entire city, remember, is underwater, but the crucial commercial hub, an IT hub, a nerve center, and many residential colonies that are, have been built on encroached lake beds are the sufferers here. Vaishnavi Prasad is country lead of Concilio. She's a prominent Bengalurian. Vaishnavi, hello. Thank you very much for your time on a day when Bengaluru is definitely suffering. Before I go to Vaishnavi, and I thank you for your patience, Vaishnavi, I want to quickly just go across to Priyanka Rudrappa, who's in Yemlur, one of the worst affected areas in Bengaluru, where people have been using boats, Priyanka, right there behind you to get from one place to another. And there are also rescues taking place at this point of time. Priyanka, show us what's going on there. Priyanka, can you hear me? Okay, what a pity, because she's right there in a place where there are rescues that are taking place. We're going to get Priyanka connected on an absolutely ASAP basis. But before that, let me go across to Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi, what's your experience been like? For those in Bengaluru, this is a reality. It happens every year. We've been very factual in our reporting. There are some parts of Bengaluru that are badly affected. Large parts of the city are not affected. What's your experience been like, Vaishnavi?
Yeah, it's just been a nightmare. That's all I could say in one word. In the last 24 to 48 hours, ever since the rain started pouring, our places have been flooded. Our electricity has been cut. We've not had any connection to the outside world. It's just, we call Bangalore the advanced city, but it's just been a really, really ridiculous situation in the last 24 to 48 hours. What's really, really bothersome is it's not just us. It's across the board. People have been affected, right? Different socioeconomic conditions. Everyone's been affected, and the blame game has started. At this point, what we need is support. What we need is empathy. Our community really has come together to look after each other. No one from outside has come to look after us, right? We've had to make sure that we had food available for everyone. We have kids in the community, we have pets in the community, we have senior citizens in the community. So our community came together to really arrange for food, arrange for tractors, arrange for evacuations. It's been an absolute a nightmare. I reiterate that. I have been in Bangalore for 18 years. I've not seen something like this ever in my 18 years, where the entire city for 2 days, we still see the water. I mean, look at the water for the last 2 days. It's not like it's pouring for the last 2 days. It's drizzling, but
we've not been.
It's not. There's no place to go. It's almost chock-a-block everywhere, and there's no place for the water to go. And that's the challenge that we are facing today. And it's just sad that my city has come to this.
I want to just show you, stay with me, Vaishnavi, because I do want to ask you another question, but I also want you to listen to our reporter who we have live from Yemlur. Priyanka, I hope you can hear me. Rescues taking place in Yemlur, people getting away on boats and tractors. Take us through what's happening around you, because Priyanka is one of the first reporters to reach the most affected parts of Bengaluru. Priyanka, what's happening there?
Shiv, it looks like the rain has spared no one in Bangalore. The incessant rains in Bangalore over the past few days has wreaked havoc across the cities, has upended people's lives. I'm at Yemlur in Bangalore, which has seen waterlogging, inundation the past few days. The locals here say that the waterlogging is due to the stormwater drains, which has been blocked. The water from the stormwater drains is overflowing into this stretch here. This stretch, as you can see on your screen, this is about 600 meters of this stretch has been waterlogged for the past 3 days. Now, these are some shocking visuals coming in from Bangalore. Now, people have also posted videos and pictures of some of the villas which are just behind this stretch of road here, which were inundated. Luxurious furniture and decor were half submerged in muddy rainwater as well. Now, the properties here are quite expensive. These are some of the prominent neighborhood in the city where people are facing a lot of inconvenience. It's not just in Yemlur. There are other areas in the city like Bengaluru and the Whitefield areas, Horamavu, which are also facing these kind of issues. So there are some shocking visuals coming in where people are struggling to pass through these waters. Two-wheelers especially, tractors are being used to ferry people from one location to the other. Most of the families in this neighborhood, they are trying to relocate them. There are some families who are still staying here. There's also rescue teams and boats, as you can see around me, which are helping the people in the neighborhood. So these are some of the updates as of now. Bangalore didn't see as much rain as it saw on Sunday night, but the Monday night rains did cause a lot of inconvenience to people as well. So there's still waterlogging in several areas as stormwater drains and lakes have been overflowing incessantly.
Please stay safe, Priyanka, because I know there are still risks to reporters. You've been incredibly brave being there, out there overnight as well to bring us those live reports. But, people have been injured. We've, one young girl called Akila has died in an electrocution. So I'd like to appeal both to Priyanka and to everybody out there. Please take all precautions. Listen to state government advisories as well. Vaishnavi, I'm coming to you in 20 seconds. I just want you, I don't know if you're able to see the screen, but we've got these incredible before-after images of Bengaluru. Just look at these images, viewer. What Yemlur looks like on a normal day, and here's what Yemlur looks like today. The same place, these are the same locations, it's not far apart. Now look at RMZ Eco Space. Look at what it looks like on a normal day, and look at what it looks like right now. Battered, traffic, one entire stretch completely inundated. Next, let's take you to see Whitefield. Whitefield is a large suburb of Bengaluru. On the left, normal day Whitefield. On the right, that's what it looks like today. That's Whitefield. Just giving you a sense. Sarjapura, another affected part of Bengaluru. On the left, normal day. On the right, Sarjapura today. And finally, the Deloitte office in Bengaluru. One of the most viral images that has been shared today. That's what the outside of the building looks like on a normal day. And on the right-hand side, that's the outside of the Deloitte building. A multinational corporation And this is what's happening outside there. Vaishnavi, it's on this that I want to come to you, that, the IT hub, the IT corridor, many of these companies have said that crores in losses have been inflicted on these companies, with each day of such flooding that takes place. So this is very serious for companies, especially in a city that has been branded as an international, a hub for investment, for people setting up their offices. What kind of message has this sent out? Because, you work as part of an international company. How has this harmed the reputation of Bengaluru?
First of all, those images just break my heart. Let me tell you that. I mean, it just completely breaks my heart that we see our Bangalore this way in just 48 hours, right?
Yeah.
That just clearly shows our infrastructure does not hold up to even this amount of rains, right? In the last 2 days, it's not like it's been pouring. So there needs to be serious effort put into the infrastructure. That said, absolutely. I work for a multinational company. I have clients to answer to. So does everybody. Everybody has clients to answer to. This really puts us in a significantly bad light in terms of what we are able to achieve here, right? That said, I want to look at it positively. This shows that there is a problem. This is the time we all have to come together. Yeah. What I've seen so far is the builders blaming the officials blaming the other officials. That is not the way forward. We have to come together as citizens, as government officials, as builders. We know how to tackle. I'm sure we're all smart people. We can tackle this problem. We got to come back together to tackle this problem. And I have faith. I have a lot of faith in our Bangaloreans, proud Bangaloreans, been part of this for many, many years. We should really look forward to come together to have a dialogue. Yeah. Come together to have a dialogue in terms of how do we solve this problem, because it's not just the commoners, just the employees, the citizens, but Absolutely. It's a larger message, right? Investments coming in. It's a larger message that we are sending to the outside world. We got to come together as citizens to tackle this problem, and we are all tax-paying citizens here.
Absolutely.
We demand the government to do something to address this problem ASAP. It's been 48 hours. I mean, Priyanka talked about Yamloor. Yamloor is my home. My own family got impacted. They were evacuated in boats and tractors. My pets, my father-in-law is 85 years old. It was a nightmare, right? So we really would request our officials, our builders, everybody to come together to solve this problem.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. And let's hope that the additional pressure of an approaching election adds even more imperative on the people in power to make the right changes. Because many a time, in a country like ours where everybody is cynical and everything is chalta hai, let's hope at least the fear of citizen anger in election season will affect some real change. You've heard some really candid views from Vaishnavi Prasad, who is directly impacted both, personally and professionally by what's happening in the city, and it cannot get more honest than the voice of a citizen of Bengaluru. Vaishnavi, I thank you very much for giving us your time at this difficult time. Once again, we tell all Bengalurians, please take all precautions before you go out. Must also say, it is not all of Bengaluru that is underwater. There are many channels, many media that are making it look like all of Bengaluru is underwater and is completely flooded. That is not the case. Here is the places which are affected. This doesn't take away from the nightmare, remember, but this is factual. Bellandur, Yamloor, which you just saw Priyanka reporting from, Whitefield are the three areas that are the worst affected. The rest of the city is pretty dry. There is no major problem. It is in these areas, which are basically the lake bed areas, where one particular large IT hub has been badly affected, and therefore you're seeing it much more. This doesn't in any way minimize the problem. It actually makes it even bigger. But remember, this is to be factual. Many millions of Bengalurians are actually in places and parts of the city which are pretty dry. So I just wanted to put that in front of the viewer as well. Now, Karnataka's Congress chief decay Shivakumar, has taken a swipe at the Bommai government today, saying that the capital city, Bengaluru, has been reduced to jokes and internet memes. And he's right. Even in this time of crisis, the people of Bengaluru have not lost their sense of humor. Well, it could be biting humor, it could be satirical humor, but remember, it is predicated on a crisis for many people in the city of Bengaluru. These are some of the internet memes that netizens have been putting out on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, right through the day today, making light of Bengaluru's new situation, Bengaluru's poor infrastructure becoming a joke and has become fodder and fuel for internet memes, satire, biting humor, and a kind of bitter, very, very dark sort of humor on the situation there. Bengaluru, remember, is a city that is famous for being able to make light and even laugh of itself many times, and that's most certainly showing through in the memes that have exploded in the last 48 hours. This Bollywood picture also making an entrance as part of the chain of memes. Breaking news coming in right now. Bengaluru's drinking water supply, which was cut off yesterday in certain parts of the city, will be restored very, very shortly. That's good news coming in. Authorities are working on repairing the affected pumps. Chief Minister Bommai has also assured, and we've gotten this directly from the Chief Minister's office, that the affected pumps are being restored very shortly, and perhaps in a matter of a few hours, drinking water supply, which had been cut off since yesterday in parts of Bengaluru, is about to be resumed. So stand by for that. If you are in any of those affected areas, this situation is under control, is being resolved, and that supply will resume very, very shortly. Remember, fingers crossed, today it hasn't rained in Bengaluru, but that doesn't mean it may not rain later in the evening. In fact, the forecast suggests that it probably will, and there is a forecast for rain up until at least Friday. The waters have receded only marginally. They continue to flood different parts of the city, and any more rain will only intensify an already crippling situation in certain parts of Bengaluru. Our reporters are out there. We will not be wavering in our focus on Bengaluru's nightmare. Quick break. We're back right after this.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now.
With films constantly failing at the box office, all pins are now hoped on Brahmastra. But you ask, what makes it the biggest and the most anticipated film of 2022? Well, my colleague Tushar Joshi and I had a brief chat on this. Take a look.
जय ब्रह्मदेव, मदद करो ताकि मैं ब्रह्मास्त्र प्राप्त कर सकूं।
सर्व अस्त्र प्रधान, जिसमें पूरे ब्रह्मांड की शक्ति भरी हुई है।
Brahmastra is intended to serve as the first film in a planned trilogy as part of its own cinematic universe called Astraverse. So here's a look at what makes it the biggest and the most anticipated film of 2022. Reason number one, the budget. Brahmastra has been made on a massive budget of somewhere between 350 to 400 crore, making it the most expensive Hindi film in the recent times.
लेकिन एक अंधेरा भी है जो सब कुछ भस्म कर देगा.
The high budget of the Indian fantasy drama is due to the never-seen-before VFX, the work on which has been done by Prime Focus, the same company that won an Academy Award for Dune's visual effects at the 94th Academy Awards. Reports suggest that the overall budget of Brahmastra excludes publicity expenses. Reason number 2, SRK's cameo. Yes, you read that right. Cinephiles are in for a treat as Shah Rukh Khan has done a cameo in this Ayan Mukherjee directorial. His blood-soaked photo was leaked on social media, and in no time, fans started celebrating the stunning screen presence of King Khan as Vanarastra, with another one showcasing him elevate in the air as a bright golden silhouette of Lord Hanuman begins to appear. Reason number 3, Dream Project. Brahmastra is Ayan Mukherjee's dream project. He gave it his all.
And after Bengaluru, it's Hyderabad that's also seeing some incessant rain. Streets have been found waterlogged in several parts of Hyderabad city. Traffic snarls being seen in the Gachibowli and Sanat Nagar areas of the city of Hyderabad as well. The waterlogging in these areas is not as bad as it is being seen in Bengaluru, but this is another southern city that's facing the issue of waterlogging. But in Bengaluru, the nightmare can easily be understood once you listen to this list, viewer. A list of the lakes in Bengaluru that have been breached, that have been encroached upon over years, and whose lake beds construction has taken place over the last many, many decades. It's one of the biggest reasons for the flooding you're seeing in those areas of Bengaluru. Take a look at this list. You will not believe it. Marenahalli Lake, Saraki Agrahara Lake, Chinnagara Lake, Chalaghatta Lake, Domfur Lake, Siddhapura Lake, Gedalanahalli Lake, Nagashetti Halli Lake, Kadirenahalli Lake, Tyagaraj Nagar Lake, Tumukur Lake, Ramshetti Palya Kere, Agasena Lake, Keta Maranahalli Lake, Maranahalli Layout, JP Nagar, 4th phase, Ejpura. All of these lakes have basically been encroached upon, a total of 42 in number, to become colonies, layouts, buildings, villas, what have you. That's the total number, but it's not over. Ganga Shetty Lake has also gone. Jakraya Lake is also gone. Dharma Buddhi Lake is also gone. Agrahara Holasere Cheluva Palya has also gone. Kalasi Palya Lake is also gone. Sampangi Lake is also gone. Shule Tank in Ashok Nagar has also gone to make way for a football stadium. Sankal Tank is also gone. Koramangala Lake is also gone. Kodihalli Lake is also gone. Hosakere Residential Railway Stockyard has come up in one particular place. The Sone Nahalli Lake is also gone. Kokula Tank, Madikere, is also gone. Vidyaranyapura Lake is also gone. Kodugunahara Lake is also gone. Hennur Lake has become HIBR layout. Banaswadi Lake has become Subbaya Palya extension. Then you've got Chennasandra Lake, that's also become a layout. Vijnipura Lake, can you imagine, viewer? I'm still going through this list and it's still not over yet. Murugesh Palya Lake, gone, encroached. Parangi Palya Lake, encroached. Mestri Palya Lake, encroached. It's become an open ground. Timbayard Lake has become Timbayard layout. Kanangodahalli Lake has become a layout. Vijaynagar Cord Road Lake has become Vijaynagar. Odarapalya Lake has become Rajaji Nagar Industrial Area, and Saneguru Vanahalli Lake has become Shivanahalli, which is a playground. Kurubarahalli Lake has become Basaveshwara Nagar layout. 43 lakes, and that's only a part of the total number of lakes of Bengaluru that have been damaged, encroached upon, and construction coming up on them. So let's not pretend to be surprised that Bengaluru is facing this nightmare. Let's think about that and let's fix accountability. Thanks for watching.
हम हर फॉरेन ब्रांड को कह रहे हैं कि आप हमारे देश के कंज्यूमर्स को भी आप बेचिए, लेकिन आप बनाइए इस बेस को एज अ ग्लोबल बेस फॉर सर्विसिंग योर ग्लोबल कंज्यूमर्स. Samsung, Apple, and many companies are doing that. To some of the other older Chinese companies that have been here, I have said the same thing to them, that our expectation is कि आप भी यहाँ से export करेंगे. In the Government of India scheme of things, there is a space for Indian brands. हम बहुत strongly मानते हैं कि हमारे electronics ecosystem में Indian entrepreneurs, Indian brands, Indian supply chain का भी एक role है. It is not to the exclusion of the foreign suppliers or the foreign brands, but we believe that it is our policy and the Government of India's obligation and duty to also build Indian brands. So wherever we feel that there is a crowding out of Indian brands due to unfair trade practices or unfair practices, we will basically, we would like to intervene and make sure that those issues are resolved. In addition to domestic production and domestic supplies and domestic consumption, that exports are a very important way to get the scales of the other economies that are competing with us. But in the overall framework, exports are as important, the push for exports are as important as domestic manufacturing and the overall manufacturing to be able to ensure that the supply chains grow and value addition increases.
Is it so hot and humid in your city that you're finding it difficult to fall asleep? Well, you are not alone. Hundreds and lakhs of people in India are facing this problem, and now it has been documented. It's now clear that heat waves are messing up our sleep patterns. This has to do largely with your body temperature in the night. Our bodies are tuned in to drop.
Co-presented by PolicyBazaar.com in association with LIC, हर पल आपके साथ, Amrita Hospital, Faridabad, Bharti AXA Life Insurance. Do the smart thing.
Rajpath is now Kartavya Path in Delhi.